You're watching the Sporting Time Show with host Doug Thompson. Sponsored by Jewelry Barn and Pawn Shop.
Good evening and welcome to the Sporting Time Show. I am Doug Thompson. We have a special show lined up for you tonight. Happy Saturday to everybody, by the way. And of course, my co-host for tonight's show is not Taryn Johnson. It is not Joe Brunk. It is Christy Stewart. How are you, Christy?
It's good to be here. I'm doing great.
You know, it's great to have you. There is so much talent here at WNKY. I mean, look at Taryn and Joe, effective about 4 hours ago, are married. Not Joe is married to Allie. Congratulations to them, Mr. and Mrs. Brunk. And Taryn has married Brittany. Congratulations to them.
I'm glad you clarified.
Yes, but both broadcasting guys. Joe is our senior broadcaster, and of course Taryn here, sports at WNKY. Both picked the same day,
which is really funny, but good for them. Congratulations.
And of course, you are the meteorologist here at WNKY.
I am.
Or atmospheric scientist,
yes,
as
you
some
could
say.
Say that. And you know what? It's really funny because I'm on a Sporting Time Show, right? You're like,
Yes.
What's a meteorologist doing on a sports show? But I'm always here behind the scenes when you're filming this show.
Yes.
And you know what? We were like, hey, we always joke that I should come on the show, and this was a perfect opportunity.
Honestly, you are probably one of the most important people when it comes to sporting events outside, that if people could contact you and say, look, we've got the apps and we're watching, but can you tell us, 30 minutes before it starts, are we going to get rain? People look at radar, but it's great to have you. And I had to laugh because today there was a 95% chance of rain, right? And I'm just wondering what Taryn is thinking right now. And I hope you were able to move some things around.
Well, we'll find out from them exactly how well it went, if they were able to dodge some of those rain showers. But we'll see, because I don't know. Well, hopefully they had an indoor ceremony or something.
Well, at least they had a backup plan, possibly. I got to ask you, how, with all the apps and all the scientific stuff that we have today, one of the jokes about Kentucky is that if you wait 5 minutes, the weather's going to change. Do you find that true, or is it just?
So I think it's funny that people say in Kentucky, because I feel like you can say that for pretty much any state, really. It does happen, but especially it happened earlier this week when we saw that cold front move through on Tuesday, and it really knocked those temperatures down, and we saw snow.
It was right. It was
so
brutal.
It was literally wait 5 minutes and you'll have different weather. We went from like 70s in the daytime to snow at night.
We talk about pressure on athletes, right? Performing, but do you get? I mean, you're standing up there and people are gauging their experiences or their outings based on what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, do you kind of like look at? There might be a chance that I don't get it 100% right.
There's always that chance, but I feel like, I don't know, you have to be confident in the forecast. It takes a while to get used to it. I feel like I've been here for 3 years, so now I'm kind of used to the weather patterns and tendencies like that. But it's also very important for athletes, like you mentioned, farmers, things like that. And I get people that reach out and they need to know like hourly by hourly.
Wow.
So I try to say that if we have rain in the forecast, like expect it around this time. And our models have gotten so good now that usually I can get it pretty accurate within about an hour, which is really good, especially during sporting events and in the summertime, springtime like we are now, thunderstorms that pop up, that's important as well.
Well, if you were a baseball player and you got 30% of your forecast correct, you would be a multi-millionaire. So don't worry about if you don't get it perfectly
I like
right.
that.
I do want to mention a couple of things, Christy. One is some new things that were coming up on the show. We're going to have the Mid-South Conference Minute, which we will let everybody know what's happening with the Mid-South Conference. They're based out of Bowling Green now. We've got tons of student athletes that play in the Mid-South Conference. And one of the other things that we have coming up is we're going to have a Toyota of Bowling Green Scholar Athlete show devoted to the entire show for the scholarships that they give out. We still have 2 openings. We have one in May and June. Go to stfanclub.com/Toyota and submit or nominate somebody, a senior, for the last 2 scholarships.
Well, that sounds exciting. Scholarships are always fantastic to give out.
Thank you very much for joining us. Fantastic having you. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, Coach Eisenberg joins us right here on the Sporting Time Show on WNKY. Welcome back. My first guest is the skipper of the Red Hot Bowling Green Purples baseball team. They've won 6 in a row, 11-3 as of our taping of this show. I want to welcome in Nathan Eisenberg, the head coach of the Purples. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So I hesitate to do this, but I've got to ask you because you didn't have a season last year. And, you know, I know you and I spoke in July when you had the All-Star baseball game for the seniors that didn't get to play, but you are truly a baseball guy. That had to be very difficult for you to kind of see how things unfolded back in 2020.
Absolutely. You know, we had 9 great seniors, guys that were really close, that had a lot of success together, whether it was Little League and junior high. And I mean, you know, I know so many of those guys could have went and played college somewhere, but they were looking, you know, towards 2020 as their last hurrah together. And not to get that, you know, it was very heartbreaking. I mean, I never will forget messaging and talking to those guys the day we cleaned out our lockers, and there were a lot of tears. We felt we had something special. I felt we had a team that could contend for a state title. And, you know, we do have a lot of those guys back, but we don't have the seniors of 2020. And I can't imagine being, you know, a player and losing my senior year or something like that. But, I mean, we obviously know it's a pandemic and everything going on. But it has definitely been a weird 12 months. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say, you know, there were some sad some sad and frustrating months there, you know, dealing with players and parents and trying to figure out, you know, what is there a light at the end of the tunnel?
Yeah, no question about that. Of course, you know, this season you've hit the ground running. You guys, your pitching. We talked a little bit before we started the interview. Your pitching is red hot right now. You've got depth. You've got power hitters. You've got speed. Was it strange for you to come back this season and basically have those sophomores that are now seniors?
Yes, it has been, and I think a lot of coaches would tell you it's been, you know, it's been different. I think there's probably been, from a fundamental standpoint, some bad high school baseball played. I think you could probably say that's been the case with college baseball as well. But, you know, we're going – and I think some years you see that in high school baseball anyways with the weather, and you really focus towards the end of April, into May. Are we playing our best baseball? And, you know, from a pitching standpoint, we don't want to overdo it too soon. Same way, we have to stair step our workouts, our pitching regimen, work up our pitch counts. And, you know, you don't want to peak too soon. And sometimes you'll see that with high school guys. And so we've had to deal with a little bit of that in the last couple of weeks. Some of our guys have been a little sore, a little tender, and, you know, they plateau. And the velocity kind of plateaus or goes down. It's you know, success is not always linear. With work.
Yeah, and of course, I can only imagine, Coach, when your team took the field for the first time for a game, there had to be an enthusiasm and just a relief that this is actually happening. Oh,
no doubt. I mean, you know, I'm a pretty hard-nosed coach, and I found early on that these guys – you know, some of the games that I felt we lost that we probably shouldn't have in the first couple of weeks, it was not the fact that, you know, your typical teenage not focusing or, you know, just kind of going through the motions. It was the fact that our guys were trying too hard. And I think they put a lot of pressure on themselves. you know, to have success, to have success for the team, to see, you know, to help one another. And then the fact that, you know, some guys are pressing because they want to impress colleges as well. And so we had to step back, and I noticed that in our second game, and I told him, you know, you can't win a game on one pitch or strike out everybody. In the same way, you can't swing the bat once and get a 5-run home run and win the ball game, or make every play on defense outstanding. We you know, the game was speeding up on us, and we talked about just keeping it simple and just one play at a time, one pitch at a time, just very fundamental.
Well, Coach, our interview has gone by fast. We've run out of time. I want to get you back in studio, though. We're close to getting our guest in studio, so I want to get you back in very soon to talk more about baseball and pick your brain about that. But thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks, Doug. I appreciate it.
All right, take care. All right, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, one of the fastest guys around in high school baseball will join me next, right here on WNKY NBC 40. Welcome back to the show. Well, as I teased before the break, one of the fastest guys in the region is joining me now just off of the 2020 state football champions, Bowling Green Purples. He is also a fantastic baseball player. Eli Burwash joins me now, a senior at Bowling Green High. Eli, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So let's talk a little football first before we get into baseball. Have you gotten your ring yet?
Yes, sir. We actually got it this Sunday.
Seriously, really?
At our banquet. Yes,
so
sir.
How nice is it?
It's pretty nice. It's probably the biggest one I have, and from travel ball and everything. That's basically all I've got them from. But this one's a lot nicer, I can tell you that.
What? Obviously, you had a great season in football. What was it like winning? First of all, being able to play the sport, but then winning a state championship.
It was just like the daily grind, I guess, and it was just a different year overall. We didn't get as many games as we planned and everything, but during the playoffs, it just got it just got amped up because we knew we were playing, and we were just glad to be there, and we were grateful to not be shut down. Well,
you know, a fantastic defensive back. I think you had 5 interceptions, a ton of tackles. Like I had mentioned before, you're very, very fast. You know, we head into baseball season, and is it safe to say that's your sport? That's the sport that you like the most?
Yes, sir. It kind of football, I guess, keeps me in shape and just helps me work out during the winter and gives me something to do, and then that just feeds into baseball.
So Eli, you know, and I know that even as a sophomore, when you played baseball, you stole a lot of bases, and you've got 13 stolen bases in right now. I think at the time of our taping of the show, your 11-3 record. I mean, you know that catchers know that you're going to steal a base, right? I mean, how much fun is it for you just to challenge them?
It's just fun every game. I just like to challenge anybody, and I like to give them the challenge too. But just knowing that I want to steal the base, I mean, it's just whether just pick the right pitch out and get the best jump and go.
So do you get to decide when you're going to steal, or and I don't want you to tell me any secret signs, but do you get an option, or is it just the coach says now it's time to go?
Yeah, it's basically up to me. I can do it whenever I want and whatever time.
That's awesome.
But mainly it's just up to you unless it's put on.
So not only do you steal bases, but I think you lead the team in batting average. You're batting about .435. And on top of that, you've got 30 strikeouts on the mound. I mean, is there something that you can't do in baseball? I mean, you're doing it all. And how did you get your timing back so quick at the plate that you could see the ball and make contact so well so early?
Well, it's just like the batting cage. We take on field BP all the time, and we do inter squads. So we basically were probably 10 games ahead of everybody, and like saying like innings and stuff, because we saw live pitchings for about 2 to 3 weeks before the game. So that just feeds into everything. And then position-wise, I just like to have, like, just in football, I like to play everywhere.
Well, I mean, you're having a great season already. For you, you had the opportunity to play football and actually play the sport because of COVID. Was it different for baseball when you were given the green light that, hey, we're going to be able to play baseball? What was it like for you to get out there on the field for the first time, knowing that we're going to get this in?
It was just really exciting because even last year we didn't get a season, and we were really hyping up that team. Ever since like 8th grade, we knew that team was going to be really good, but we just never got the chance. So this year it's just like you got to lay it all out there, or like it's a chance. Like they didn't even get their senior year, so you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, what an amazing season. Just real quick, and again, I don't want you to give me any tips, but I mean, you're stealing bases left and right. Do coaches watch you, and opposing coaches saying, look, if he tips his hat or he pulls up his sock or whatever, he's going to go? Do you think they scout you like that?
I'm not sure, but I probably try to tend to change it up. But I mean, at some point I'll probably go. So they just got to pick the right pitch, I guess.
Well, listen, what a great career. Congratulations. Thank you very much for joining me today, and good luck in the rest of the season.
Thank you.
All right, thank you,
me.
Eli. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to wrap things up right here on the Sporting Time Show on WNKY NBC 40. Welcome back to the show. Again, Christy Stewart is my co-host for today. And again, thank you very much for sitting in for Taryn Johnson, who just got married a few hours ago. I don't know if he's on a plane to Hawaii or not, but it's close.
I don't know. But either way, he's going to Hawaii. That's fantastic.
It is fantastic. And as you all heard last week, he is going to be sending me a postcard.
Yeah, I don't know what was up with that postcard.
Who does that? I mean,
it'll get here like 2 weeks after he's been back.
I know enough. Nobody sends postcards anymore.
Right.
I mean, come on. Well, let's turn our attention to some high school softball and baseball. And let's start off with Allen County Scottsville, coached by Brad Bonds. They're 7-2, Christy, since April 8th, 11-5 overall.
Yeah, they've got a batting average of .411 and an ERA of .293.
Which is pretty strong. I mean, that's really good. But the amazing thing about Allen County Scottsville is that their leading batter is Hadley Borders. She is batting .540, numero uno, number one. She's in the 7th grade.
Wow, 7th grade.
I mean,
that's incredible.
That's amazing. I mean, she's playing high school softball, and she leads with the .540 batting average, 7th grader, and then junior Bailey Osbrook is close behind. She's at .521 with 23 RBI. So congratulations to them on a really good season. Barron County, they started the season 9-0, but the Lady Trojans have slowed down a little bit. They're, I guess, what, 0-3 in the last 3 games? Yeah,
0-3 in the last 3 games, and that batting average of .320.
Which is very strong.
Yeah.
But you got to, 9-0. I know they've got a very tough schedule, so we're not going to get hung up on losing 3 so far. Warren East, Philip McKinney. You look at what's happening in the 4th region right now, and there's a strong argument that Warren East and South Warren are going to meet up again, but they're 10-3 right now.
10-3. They've got 3 losses by 2 runs or less.
Yeah, that's amazing. And of course, we've talked about Lucy Patterson on this show so many times. She is a 3-sport athlete. She leads the team with a batting average of .476. She is a senior. Emma Young is a junior, .441 batting average. Senior Harley Stringfield, she is batting .429. And Emma Markham, amazingly pitching a .74 ERA, so incredible.
That is incredible. And they were only allowed 13 runs, outscored their opponents 77-13.
That's amazing. That is some great defense, and some great pitching. And then as we turn our attention to South Warren, the Lady Spartans right now are on top of the 4th region with a perfect record of 9-0. And
yeah, they've got that batting average of .316, doing great. They're led by junior Caroline Pitcock, and she has that batting of .484. We also have senior Emily Reynolds at .469.
And we had Emily Reynolds and her mom, who is the head coach of the Lady Spartans, on last week's show. They are young, but they are very, very talented. Pitching, you've got Metcalf, Reynolds, and Willingham, a junior, senior, and sophomore in Willingham. Their ERA is 2.07. And they've done a good job outscoring their opponents as well.
Yeah, we've got a lot of talented people here in South Central Kentucky.
Yeah. And very quickly, we've got baseball. Barron County right now is averaging .342 at the plate. The Glasgow Scotties are 7-5 over in the 15th district. South Warren, we had them on last week. They're 8-3, but they are red hot. They have won 6 games in a row. They have outscored their opponents 63-36. And what's amazing about that, 11 runs in one of those games accounts for the 36. Senior Tanner Graves is batting .480, and Trevor Naughton is, he's a junior, he is batting .444. And then as we look to Greenwood, they are 8-7, coached by Jason Jaggers. Braxton Garner, he's a senior, batting .405, having a great season. Here's one of the impressive things, Christy, about the Greenwood baseball team is that they've got 27 base on balls between 3 batters. So what that means is those guys are patient, they're watching the ball, and they're getting on the plate without striking out. So congratulations to them. Logan County has won the last 5 out of 6, so they're back on track. Ethan McGuire, one of the senior coaches in the 4th region. But anyway, that's it. That's a wrap on this show. Thank you very much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm happy to fill in.
All right. Thank you very much. And everybody have a fantastic Saturday. Have a great weekend and have a better week. For Doug Thompson and Christy Stewart, thank you for joining us. Good night.